Welcome to the channel, all my friends. On today's video, we're going to be performing an oil change service on this 2017 Mini Cooper. This is the Countryman. This is a 3-cylinder, 1.5 liter. Your 4 cylinders are going to be the same. So we have the vehicle on jack stands and supported. We'll go ahead and open up the hood. So with the hood open, you want to go ahead and loosen up the oil filler cap. That will relieve the pressure in the crankcase so the oil will drain. Now we'll go ahead and get underneath the vehicle. And underneath the vehicle, obviously there is a shield covering everything underneath. We don't need to remove the complete shield. About the center of this shield, there is an access panel. If you take a flathead screwdrivers and just spin these, and our oil filter will be right here, and directly behind it will be another access hole here, which is on the right side of the vehicle, and that will give us access to our drain plug, which is right here. That's a 17 millimeter. So we'll get our pan underneath and loosen up our 17 millimeter drain plug and let that oil drain. So using our 17 millimeter wrench, I was able to loosen up the drain plug, and we have the oil draining into a pan. As the oil is draining, we'll also go ahead and loosen up the T55 Torx. That's a drain plug that's right on the filter. We'll go ahead and loosen that up and let that also drain. So again, what you need is a T55 Torx, which fits right on the end of that. We can loosen up that drain plug and let the oil drain from the filter housing. Just like so. That drain plug will come off just like that. And we'll let that completely drain before we can unbolt the housing to remove the filter. So once our oil is done draining from the filter housing, we'll take a socket to remove this filter housing. 1.25 inch socket here, which seems to fit perfect. I'm sure it's metric. I will put that on the screen for you as far as sizes, but I'm able to get it off perfectly with an 1.25 inch socket just like this. Not an issue. And that'll come off just like so with the cartridge filter inside. So we'll go ahead and replace this filter. Now the filter can be pulled right out of the housing. There's these tabs that lock right into that. So once you pull on it a little bit, that will disconnect from there. We can go ahead, and unless you're using a new housing, I would go ahead and clean this out, possibly with brake cleaner or some type of a degreaser. We also have the drain plug removed from the oil pan, and this is the drain plug for the filter housing here. Now our new kit will have the filter, and it will also come with a new drain plug for the filter housing. It will have an O-ring, which is right here on the filter housing. It will also have a crush washer, so you want to replace the crush washer on your drain plug, and it will also have a smaller O-ring right here, which will be on your drain plug. So we'll go ahead and put that on our new drain plug. We'll get this cleaned up, get our new filter installed, and we'll get everything buttoned up. We have our filter housing cleaned out, new filter installed. The new filter just pushes right into it and locks in. We also have our drain plug in at the bottom, and I like to put a little bit of an oil in it so we're not running completely dry when we first start it up. Certainly not necessary, but that's the way I do it. We also have our new crush washer onto our drain plug. Don't forget to put the O-ring onto the new drain plug that you have before putting the drain plug back in. And lubricate the O-rings here and on the drain plug, obviously, before you put it in. And now we're ready to go ahead and install the new filter. The drain plug is back in place, fully tightened. Again, that's a 17 millimeter. Now we can go ahead and close this access panel. or you can leave it open for now until we fill it, run it. That way you can check to make sure there's no leaks. But I'm going to go ahead and close it. We can always reopen it to check for leaks. Now that we have everything buttoned up at the bottom and the vehicle is off the jack stands, sitting on a level floor, so now we can go ahead and add our new oil. I'm using a funnel that does help. Now, this being a 3-cylinder, this should take about 4.5 quarts. The 4 cylinders, I believe, take 5.5 quarts. Now, there is no dipsticks on these engines to physically check the oil. That all has to be done through the monitoring system or the screen inside the vehicle. So we'll go ahead and add 4.5 quarts of oil to this. Then we'll check the level through the system. It is recommended to use a BMW approved. This vehicle calls for a 0W20 weight oil. And I'll put them in the description for you with the filter kit and everything. 5-quart jug here. So now that we have 4.5 quarts added to the engine, we'll go ahead and close up the oil cap. The oil change completed. We can go ahead and reset the oil service light. Now, it's already been done on this vehicle, but it's super easy. I will go ahead and walk you through the process. Go ahead and cycle your ignition on, just the accessories on, and we will go ahead and hold the reset button here. After holding, this will go into the reset mode. Now, this has already been done, so it will not allow me to do it yet again. But at this point, you want to go ahead and hold the reset button again, and it'll go into a reset mode, and then you have to hold it one more time as it's resetting, and then it'll give you a message that it has been successful in resetting. Really simple. If you have any questions, you can certainly message. We'll let you know what the process is. But it's done right through the reset button here. Check the oil. You want to go into the vehicle info, and you'll see 2 menus there. Once you're in the vehicle info, you want to go ahead and hit vehicle status. Now you have these menus here. There's 2 oil menus here. You can see the check mark here, which kind of tells you oil's okay, at least to start with. Now we want to measure the oil since we added oil. You want to go ahead and click measure engine oil and start measurement. Now remember, the vehicle does have to be on level surface. You want to follow everything that it says here. And also the vehicle has to be at operating temperature before it even allows you to measure the oil. So we'll go ahead and hit start measurement, and it'll take a little bit here. Now that it's gone through its measuring cycle, that shows you here. You can see the graph here. As long as it's between minimum and maximum, you're okay. Now I do have some oil left. I'll go ahead and add the rest of it in there to make it at max, and we should be in good shape. So I was able to add some more oil and recheck. Now we're exactly at the max point with the vehicle at operating temperature. Now that's perfect. That's how I like it. And kind of dumb not having a physical dipstick. That would be much easier. But that's just the way it is. Hopefully this video has helped somebody out. If you have any comments, questions, please let me know. And please do check the description for the parts used. I thank you for watching.